This is a daily chart on silver, and a lot of what happened, say, on Friday and Monday, well, particularly on Monday, the market took some words how Ben Bernanke spoke as news that maybe QE might, hopefully, possibly be coming up here sometime. It's not, he didn't really hint at it, but they took his words and construed them in such a way that really gave a boost to the metals. The guy's got a lot of power. And, to tell you the truth, I don't really, the more I am looking at his policies and what he's trying to do and what he's saying, I know he's not a fan of gold, but I don't think he's a bad guy at all, to tell you the truth. I don't think he is. If there's some evil going on, it's other people. It's not Ben Bernanke himself. I think he actually is a caring person. That's the way I'm reading him. Probably an unpopular opinion. Now, Ben Bernanke has a position on gold he doesn't like. He's not stupid. Believe me, the guy is extremely intelligent, and just because he has his position on gold, a lot of it, the main thing you can say against gold was that the gold standard was the reason for the Great Depression went on longer. That's the main reason that people might have an argument against gold, because there wasn't enough liquidity. Things weren't turning over fast enough in the economy, and actually during that time, some stimulation, increasing the money supply, could have probably done some good. There's a little truth to it more during the Great Depression, and that is what he studied a lot. So that's just why his opinion's like that. I know gold is also good to hold during deflationary times too, but I don't think the guy is evil. I really don't think he is, to tell you the truth. I'm kind of reading something else. But on his silver chart, he spoke. He was good for the metals. Now, he can make these metals go up. All he's got to do is say QE and they go way up. Now, if this thing starts getting very close to 35, I'm getting out of my short position on silver and gold. Now, I possibly think it might not. This basically, when you have something like this, it almost looks like a reverse hammer on the end of an upward trend for a couple days. That could mean a reversal. And it could be a reversal. That's sometimes what could mean that. And I don't really want to put a whole 100% faith in technicals, but it really is going to be if there's some kind of bad news coming out of Europe. And I think the one thing that's going to be coming up here soon is, say, Monday, we're going to have statistics on what the global primary manufacturing index is going to be. And right now, we do know that preliminary statistics on Germany, France, and China look like they're very weak. So that could drive the metals down a lot. So I'm holding my position, but I am playing this in a very conservative way. If silver and gold go down a lot, I'm not going to really make that much money, because I'm holding some long positions on various commodities, like including some of the silver stocks, agriculture, copper, and I'm kind of more in cash too. But I do have a short position on mainly silver and also somewhat on gold. So if this does go up, I'm not going to get hit with a major loss. If it does go down, I'm not going to make a major gain. But I do think the general trend is still down. Sometimes it has a few good days. It goes up, like this is a daily chart. Sometimes it's much clearer to look at a daily chart. It goes up a few days, some news comes out, and it changes. So right now, it kind of looks like the market's sitting in some kind of equilibrium. And you notice a lot of times the euro does have some kind of bearing on the metals prices too. And I just want to go back to that comment I said about Ben Bernanke. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but I think there is some kind of evil stuff going on with the central banks. I don't think that guy is the evil guy. That's my opinion on that guy. I see something else. That's just my opinion. Looking today, silver was looking really bullish this morning, and then it retraced somewhat. I don't know the specific news for that, and I don't want to really comment on that because I really don't care too much. I'm not going to try to jump in and out of this market on a daily basis. I think that's very risky. My strategy is basically to stay primarily in a short position on silver and gold for the next week or so and see if it does go down below 30. If that's the case, I'm getting out of the short position and I'm going to start buying in, but not buying in on leverage. I'm playing pretty cautious, actually. Also want to point out something, a little common sense. It's not just going to be gold and silver that are going to be in short supply in the world in the near-term future. I mean, within so many years, and short term, it's going to go up a lot because I think they're going to revalue the Chinese yuan. But also long term, just holding any assets, it's going to go up. It's a little factoid. By 2012, only 1 or 10% of the largest uranium mines on Earth will still be producing. So much for nuclear energy. And that's kind of my reasoning. Why the hell is Iran? Well, we know what they're doing. Anyway, it's a side note, but only 1 in 10 of the largest uranium mines on Earth will still be producing. Ore grades are down in the following. This is going back like a century: gold, silver, copper, lead, and zinc. Actually, in that order, silver's grades are down. Ore grades are down the most, right? But the counter argument to this is like, yes, the grades are down, the ore grades are down in all the mines, but there's more efficient ways to bring out the grades, and there's more efficient mining methods, and so we can produce more, right? Well, there's a flip side to that, and it's a little bit common sense. Every single mining operation out there is extremely energy intensive and also water intensive too. Actually water is going to become a very expensive commodity probably at some point in time. But energy is definitely becoming more and more of an expensive commodity. And I don't want to display them again, but I actually had studies from one major planned mining operation that was going to be out in the southwest of the United States. And if you're looking at daily operating costs, almost 50% of it was going to diesel fuel. So figure that out very easily. So if ore grades are going down, they got better machinery to process the ores, but it's still an extremely energy intensive operation. Doesn't matter if it's gold, silver, copper, lead, or zinc. It's very energy intensive. That is something that is in short supply in the world, as far as like geopolitical tensions are going on and stuff. So that's going to drive these metals up in the short term. I know ore grades have been down for decades and decades and decades, and have been going down. But another factor, is global middle class. The middle class is coming on bigger and bigger and bigger in China and India, other places in the world, South America, Brazil, and what that's going to mean is major competition for, resources like even silver, oil, copper. Copper actually is probably going to perform extremely well. Not as well as silver, but it's probably going to be one of the better asset classes to own. And this is also because of, maybe not U.S. industrial demand, but global industrial demand. And, China does not have too much in the way of natural resources. So they're going to be, putting a lot of demand on other places that do have natural resources. As far as, some of this, let's see, I want to go back to this thing about the nickels. I think this actually is a very good idea. It's 75 a nickel in regular nickel that people buy, the same nickel since 1946. Right now it's 9.3% more as far as the melt value. Actually, a couple weeks ago it was less than this. It was like 8 point something percent more, and it contains 75% copper. I swear, I think this is a slick idea that everybody's ignoring. I probably, I don't have, if I told 1 million people this, I would not tell 1 million people this. I'm not telling that many people this, so it's not going to affect the market. But I think this is a very, very slick idea that everybody's ignoring because they're not worth that much. I mean, you're talking, nickel melt value is 5.5 cents. Not that you're going to melt it down, but when these go out of production, these older nickels are probably, when they become the older nickels, they're probably going to be worth quite a bit more. And since they're 75% copper, I think copper is going to go up an extreme amount of money, in value. Not quite as much as silver, but it's going to still do extremely well because of demand from China and India. Even though China's having to slow down short term, longer term, it's not going to be that way at all. I've been saving these. These are kind of a pain to save because they're too bulky, and you really can't buy a gazillion of them at once. As far as I know, I just get about 20 bucks of them at a time. But you know what? That adds up. Say they're worth 10 times as much money. I don't care. I just take whatever money you get. Who the hell knows? Some idiot might pay $1 each for these damn things someday, for all I know. And if you got, 55-gallon drum full of them, there you go, buddy. That's what I would do. So I think, it's a matter of how long you want to hold an asset, too. But at some point in time, this is actually going to be a very good deal. And I remember back in 1964, nobody was saving those quarters. They did at first, but then they didn't. Nobody did. Nobody did. It took a while. But in the case of these nickels, I think it's going to come up that it might be 5 years from now. These damn things might be worth quite a bit of money. And people, what generally happens is the general population gets it wrong. They're ignoring this. They got silver tunnel vision. You can't lose with this thing. It's always worth a nickel. That's the way I look at it. It's inflation. It's protected. Your principal value is protected. Now, actually, I heard there's some people that actually bought like $1 million worth of nickels or something out in Texas, and they stored them someplace. I think that guy's pretty smart. But quite obviously, most of the market can't do that. But this is one area nobody's looking at right now. I got to point that out because it goes along with, copper. Copper with the middle class needing more and more electricity and different products, construction and things like that. The growing middle class in China, India, Brazil, everywhere across the world. Copper is going to be very bullish too. Now, if we had a coin that had silver in it that was close to the melt value, everybody, or was beyond the melt value, everybody in the world would be buying it because they're so concentrated on tunnel vision with silver. Just want to belabor this point a little bit because this is a slick idea, believe me. You can't go wrong.